Anxious thoughts flutter like restless sparrows across your mind, and you wonder if the coming hours will echo yesterday's unrest or unveil mercy you have yet to taste. The eastern edge of the sky carries an unsettled hush, inviting you to pause and feel each breath become surrender. In this tender space, the Lord stands as an anchor that steadies every tremor, a refuge deeper than any night wind. You are here to lay worries down, release tight plans, and listen for whispers of stillness strong enough to silence storms. You keep in perfect peace the one whose mind is stayed on you. See Isaiah 26:3. Perfect peace is not absence of struggle, it is presence of the faithful one. Trust is the doorway through which calm enters. Which care presses heaviest on your chest, and which desire clenches your steps? Will you entrust both to his open hands before the horizon brightens, letting gratitude rise even before explanations arrive? Now, as your heart grows still, you step into the first light of promise. Ready to walk toward a dawn reshaped by grace, you wake before alarms, and the room still hums with half-shaped dreams. Yet your pulse already races ahead of the sun. Shadows stretch across the ceiling like questions you have not answered, and the quiet feels thin, unable to muffle the clatter of what if. You lie still, noticing how your stomach tightens when you list tasks, deadlines, fragile relationships, each one a pebble that collectively weighs like a mountain. In this first breath of morning, anxiety tries to script the narrative, telling you that control is the only road to safety, yet offering no map. Cast all your cares on him, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. These words are not a lecture, they are a lifeline tossed across churning water. Caring hands do not scold your trembling, they steady it. You sit up and place bare feet on cool floorboards. The chill surprises you into presence, and for a moment you simply breathe, counting to 4 on the inhale, to 6 on the exhale, releasing clenched jaw and shoulders. With each slow breath, you imagine worry drifting out like mist, making space for oxygen of hope. The room's silence is no longer thin. It is spacious, even resonant, carrying a subtle promise that you are not alone in it. Window blinds glow faint pink, and a shy bird song threads through the hush like needle and silk, stitching assurance into the moment. You reach for scripture not as a checklist but as a lantern. Your eyes land on Philippians 4:6-7, the familiar yet ever fresh remedy for spiraling thoughts. Do not be anxious about anything. This command feels impossible until you read the next line, peace will guard. Guarding is his job, entrusting is yours. The words form a conversation with your pulse. You whisper them, letting syllables fall like rain on dry soil. Slowly, your heartbeat aligns with a calmer tempo, and your mind, which moments ago sprinted in circles, begins to walk the circumference of the verse instead. Peace is described as surpassing understanding. You notice it is already doing so, arriving before questions are answered. You stand, draw the curtains, and allow first light to brush across your face. The horizon, though distant, gifts a faint gold line, a visual pledge that darkness has limits. You feel a sacred permission to begin again, not from deficit, but from delight. Anxiety whispers, you must earn safety. Grace replies, safety walks with you. The contrast is stark. You choose the second sentence. A simple prayer rises. Jesus, hold this heart that outruns itself. Guide these thoughts back to you, whenever they stray. You picture handing him a tangled ball of string. He receives it without disdain, patiently untangling knot by knot. Your role is only to release the ball, not to tidy it first. In this gentler rhythm, you outline the day. The meeting at 10, the commute, the conversation you have delayed. Each item is placed on an invisible altar. You ask for wisdom, clarity, and kindness, noticing how asking itself loosens the grip of dread. Anxiety feeds on imagined isolation. Prayer reminds you of partnership. You end this first section the way the earth ends night, by welcoming gradual light. Breathing remains slow, shoulders lowered, soul anchored. The dawn outside is no longer unsettled. It is honest, vast, and filled with potential strands of joy still unseen. You resolve to meet the next hour one moment at a time, trusting that peace is not a destination, but a traveling companion, ready to speak again whenever anxious thoughts knock. You draw a deliberate inhale, counting steady beats while morning light slides across the wall like liquid gold. Cool air settles in your lungs, and the racing rhythm of earlier moments shifts into a slower cadence. One hand rests over your chest, feeling each rise and fall as evidence that life itself is a gift, not a demand. With the exhale, shoulders descend and jaw unclenches. Space expands inside you, making room for calm intention. Here, breathing becomes a gentle liturgy, every intake welcoming grace, every release letting tension drift beyond reach. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Rest is not laziness, it is alignment with divine rhythm. The invitation carries no prerequisite other than honesty about weariness. Palms open on your lap, you picture burdens as smooth stones, deadlines, family worries, health uncertainties, each one balanced momentarily before gravity pulls them into an unseen river of mercy flowing beneath your chair. The water swallows them without splash or judgment, carrying weight to places you cannot follow. Surrender feels less like defeat and more like cooperation with a force wiser than anxious logic. You notice emptiness in your hands, yet the emptiness is light, almost luminous, hinting that release can make room for unexpected blessings. You straighten spine, allowing breath to fill every hidden corner, and invite Holy Spirit to occupy that inner cathedral. Wind chimes outside accent the quiet, their tinkling notes reminding you that even breeze has purpose. The tasks awaiting you. Emails, decisions, commutes no longer appear as towering cliffs. They resemble stepping stones across a meadow. Strength is born in stillness, and courage grows best in soil watered by trust. You whisper alignment over the day, guide conversations toward kindness, guide work toward excellence, guide heartbeats toward joy. Such spoken surrender is a steering wheel placed gladly into divine hands. Knowing that tension may attempt to return, you plan a sanctuary within each hour. 3 deep breaths before opening an inbox. A whispered, God, hold this. Before difficult dialogue, a grateful nod to the sky during midday walks. You adopt breathing as portable altar, a rhythm that can be practiced anywhere, even in crowded places. Anxiety may knock again, yet it will meet a mind anchored in steady respiration and a soul persuaded that relinquishing control invites unshakable peace. The horizon through your window brightens, and you stand lighter, fueled by air, faith, and the quiet certainty that surrender is strength disguised. You step onto the porch and inhale air brushed with dew, sensing how the world steadies when morning settles into clear rhythm. The street is quiet except for a distant engine and the faint rustle of leaves, yet you feel unseen currents beneath every sidewalk. News alerts, financial shifts, fragile relationships, hidden health questions. They swirl like tides, eager to tug you away from newfound calm. But here, you picture your soul as a small boat entering a sheltered cove, lowering a sturdy iron weight into bedrock beneath the water. Nothing flashy occurs above the surface, yet beneath, an anchor grips deeper than gusts or whitecaps can reach. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Trust is not denial of reality. It is choosing the most reliable foundation. Understanding may wobble, his character does not. Holding that verse, you trace memories of past dawns when expectations collapsed like sandcastles under high tide. Each collapse felt final, until provision arrived through a friend's unexpected voice, a timely email, or peace unexplainably settling mid-crisis. Remembering those rescues stirs gratitude, and gratitude strengthens confidence that rescue will come again, though method and timing remain hidden. Your pulse, once quickened by "what if," syncs now with "even if," acknowledging that storms may arise, yet shoreline remains secure. You walk back inside and pour water into the kettle, listening to small pops as metal warms. Each pop reminds you that heat, though invisible, produces transformation. Water to steam, worry to faith. Steam curls upward like a silent psalm, and you whisper, "Wide my heart to hold fast." You picture tasks ahead as separate waves, presenting an idea to cautious colleagues, navigating a family medical appointment, responding graciously to criticism. Rather than fearing each surge, you tie fresh rope from heart to anchor with short prayers. Stay near, steady mind, shape speech with kindness. A robin flits onto the windowsill, tilting head as if studying your resolve. You consider how birds trust invisible currents. They leap not because they control air, but because air carries them. Likewise, trust invites you to act. Send the email, apologize first, decline an unhealthy commitment, knowing that unseen grace upholds your motion. What appears risk is actually participation in a larger safety net woven by divine hands. Mid-sip of tea, anxious speculation attempts a comeback. What if the presentation falls flat? What if the scan shows bad news? Instead of wrestling, you allow questions to float by like driftwood, acknowledging them without granting authority. The anchor remains firm, vessel may sway, but horizon does not change. In that recognition, you feel energy once spent on worry reroute toward creative thinking, refining slides, planning supportive words for loved ones, preparing comforting meals. Trust frees bandwidth for love. Before stepping into the wider world, you pick up a small stone from a planter, smooth, speckled, pocket-sized, and designate it a tangible reminder. Each time fingers brush its surface today, you will recall the unseen anchor. Physical touch awakens spiritual memory, and memory fuels courageous choices. You lock the door behind you and head down the path, environment brightening with layered birdsong and morning chatter of neighbors. External movement now mirrors inner stability. Stride is even, shoulders balanced, gaze lifted beyond pavement. You are not naive about storms, you simply know where your security rests. Anchor lodged, rope taut, heart ready, you walk into possibilities unhidden by fear. Trains rumble in the distance, cars begin their morning parade, and chatter from an open window drifts across the street, yet you pause in the doorway to savor one lingering hush. Inside that pocket of quiet you sense something muscular, like the trunk of an ancient tree hidden beneath soft moss. Stillness, once mistaken for inactivity, now reveals itself as power under gentle restraint, an inner gym where endurance is forged without noise. You settle onto a bench at the small park near your building. Dew darkens the wood, and the cool seeping through fabric reminds muscles to relax instead of brace. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 4:6 and 10. Knowing requires space. Stillness carves that space, allowing truth to echo until it reshapes hidden frameworks of thought. I scan the pond where ripples merely kiss the shore. A single dragonfly hovers, wings almost invisible in motion, yet holding position with precise control. Its subtle mastery hints at your own potential. Centered presence generates focused influence. You reflect on yesterday's hurried decisions, how haste bred missteps and extra apologies, and notice how breathing second, observing first, could have rewritten outcomes. Determined to practice stillness as strength, you fold today's schedule into pockets of unhurried pauses. 3 minutes of silence before significant calls, 10 slow bites during lunch instead of scrolling headlines, a brief gaze at treetops after work before unlocking your phone. A jogger passes, earbuds in, pace swift. Comparison tempts you to measure worth by velocity, but you decline, remembering that purpose differs between runners and routes. Turning inward, you envision your spirit sinking deeper, like taproot searching for aquifers untouched by surface drought. The deeper the root descends, the less external weather dictates vitality. Winds may gust with criticism, market fluctuations, or unexpected illness. Stillness draws up resilience untouched by circumstance. Strength thrives below visibility, crowned later in fruit of patience and clarity. You rehearse a challenging conversation slated for mid-afternoon. Instead of scripting witty defenses, you sit silently, letting imagined tensions surface and evaporate. Without argument to feed them, they dissolve. What remains is kindness, firm yet calm, ready to guide your voice when the moment comes. You marvel that silence can disarm conflict before words arise, as if stillness wields a quiet sword none can see yet all can feel. The sun lifts higher, light fractures on pond ripples into a mosaic of gold shards. Each flicker says, movement may dazzle, but reflection multiplies beauty. You allow that truth to drape over plans, deciding to favor reflective questions in meetings. What outcome serves all? Who might feel unseen? Asking rather than declaring invites collective wisdom, proving that soft power can steer heavy projects. Back on your feet, you notice posture taller, steps deliberate. Time did not stall, it matured, ripening moments into readiness. You realize strong stillness has 3 companions: attentiveness, compassion, and measured action. Attentiveness hears nuance others miss. Compassion softens response. Measured action lands precisely where impact matters most. You carry these allies as invisible gear, trusting they outmatch frantic hustle. Heading toward home to gather belongings for work, you pass a neighbor wrestling groceries. Without hurry, you grasp 2 bags, lifting with ease born of unstrained muscles, and unclouded mind. Your help surprises her. She smiles, relief spreading like dawn across her face. Strength in stillness overflows into service, turning private practice into public blessing. As doors close behind you both, echo of simple laughter lingers. Proof that quiet power can brighten corridors more than volume ever could. You glance at your phone. Minutes remain before departure, yet urgency feels distant. Stillness has stretched time, granting margin for generosity and a final breath prayer. May calm continue guiding every gesture. Pocketing keys, you move forward, confident that internal quiet will translate into external stability, weaving strength through the fabric of an ordinary day, made extraordinary by unspoken peace. Shoes laced, bag packed. You pause at the threshold where private resolve meets public roadway. The path ahead spreads like a blank canvas, splashed with hints of traffic, voices and choices not yet made. Yesterday, walking felt reactive, dodging anxiety's debris, sprinting from shadow to shadow. Yet today, every stride can become a deliberate brushstroke, forming artwork of faithful movement. You breathe, drawing stillness up from inner reservoirs dug in earlier hours. Calm travels down spine to soles, turning ordinary pavement into holy ground. Leaving the building, you note how light angles between trees, sketching arrows on the sidewalk. Each arrow urges forward, but you choose pace rather than haste, mindful that progress without purpose is fatigue disguised as achievement. Traffic hums like a restless chorus, yet you hear a quieter rhythm beneath, the cadence of intention, telling you that mission is not measured by noise level, but by alignment with truth cultivated at dawn. The destination matters, but so does the manner of travel. Shoulders back, heart open, eyes keen for opportunities to seed kindness. First interaction arrives quickly. A colleague texts frantic questions about a report. Instead of letting urgency hijack mind, you reply with clarity and grace, offering concise steps, plus a reassuring phrase learned in stillness. We'll solve this together. Your thumbs tap calmly, refusing panic's shorthand. As you hit send, relief pings back, and you realize purposeful steps don't merely advance your journey, they create steady footing for others. Confidence, like sunlight, is contagious. Crossing a busy street, you wait at the red signal. Horns blare, motors rev. Yet within, breath remains slow. Intention keeps feet from inching forward prematurely. Green appears, and you move, feeling how external permission echoes internal readiness. Not every green light needs chasing. Some waits safeguard timing that will prove perfect later. You reflect on meetings scheduled today. Places where speaking up will matter and places where listening will heal. Purposeful steps include strategic pauses, acknowledging that silence can carry weight heavier than words. Mid-block, a street vendor drops coins. They scatter like silver seeds. Reflex propels you to crouch and help gather them, and in that kneel you glimpse legacy of deliberate care. Purposeful living is not limited to boardrooms or pulpits. It flourishes in humble gutters where compassion bends low. Vendor's grateful nod plants joy that lingers long after coins return to palm. You straighten, sensing posture taller, not because spine unfurls, but because meaning saturates muscles. Approaching office doors, tension of upcoming presentation tries to creep in. You answer not with worry, but with mental rehearsal of intentions, present truth openly. elevate team contributions, invite constructive critique. Purposeful steps swap performance anxiety for service mindset. Focus shifts from impressing to empowering. You visualize sharing slides, eyes scanning audience not for approval but for connection, ready to adapt tone if confusion flickers on faces. Flexibility becomes companion of purpose, adjusting route without abandoning destination. Lunch hour offers another decision fork. Eat alone scrolling news or share table with new intern searching for belonging. You choose the latter, recognizing that purpose often wears everyday clothing. Conversation flows. You listen more than speak. Affirm budding ideas. Steer dreams away from self-doubt cliffs. Intern's smile widens as meal ends. And you realize that your morning disciplines ripple far beyond personal calm. They draft maps for others, navigating similar seas. As afternoon wanes, fatigue whispers shortcuts, skip, follow up email, postpone difficult apology, ignore subtle prompting to encourage wary coworker. Yet deliberate living counters with gentle insistence. You honor each task, each nudge, trusting that small obediences assemble into architecture of integrity. Stepping out at day's end, sky blushes toward evening, mirroring dawn's palette but deeper, as if affirming growth measured in choices rather than hours. Pavement beneath feet feels familiar, yet the person walking it is subtly remade, less driven by uncertainty, more directed by clear intention seeded in morning prayer. Returning home, you pause before key turns in lock, offering silent thanks for every purposeful stride, the patient text, the gathered coins, the brave presentation, the shared lunch, the completed tasks. Each act becomes a bead on gratitude's string, soon to glimmer in final light of day. You exhale, sensing tomorrow already forming, and know that sunrise will again invite anxious thoughts to scramble. Yet you also know breath, anchor, stillness, and purpose remain tools within reach, ready to craft courage into action once more. Evening drapes the world in amber glow, and you step onto the balcony to witness day's last flourish. Thoughts drift back through dawn's trembling heartbeat, midday's purposeful stride, and the silent threads that stitched calm into every hour. Now color spills across clouds like an artist rinsing brushes, and you recognize a quiet invitation. Collect today's mercies the way children gather seashells, one gleaming moment at a time. You begin aloud, voice low yet steady, naming simple gifts, clean water, honest laughter, solved problems, lessons hidden within unsolved ones. Each word rises like lantern light, lifting lingering shadows from corners of mind. You recall the tense presentation, how calm held you steady, and gratitude swells for unseen grace that turned nerves into clarity. Memory shifts to the intern's bright eyes during lunch. You thank God for the privilege of planting courage. Even the dropped coins return, reminding you that humble bends become sacred altars. Gratitude reframes what anxiety once called inconvenience, redefining it as opportunity to serve. Muscles in your shoulders ease once more, mirroring the sky, gradually unclenching its bright fist of color. A breeze brushes your cheek, cool yet gentle, and you sense gratitude traveling beyond mere memory into anticipation. Tomorrow carries unknowns, but tonight you practice thanking for blessings, not yet visible wisdom for future decisions, strength for unforeseen challenges, kindness ready to bloom in conversations you haven't started, Gratitude becomes telescope and anchor simultaneously, extending sight toward promises while rooting heart in present sufficiency. You close eyes, breathing deep. Inside that darkness, sparks of thankfulness flicker: family names, friend messages, even the silent companionship of a pet curled nearby. Life is not absence of anxiety, it is presence of steadfast help that outshines fear. Opening eyes again, you notice stars puncturing twilight. Each pinprick feels like celestial echo answering your thanks. You whisper one more list: safety through travel, food shared, words spoken with integrity, quiet victories no one else witnessed. Gratitude reshapes narrative, turning what if dread into even if devotion. Time arrives to slip indoors, yet you linger, honoring final seconds of light. You raise hands slightly, palms open toward dimming sky, as gesture of both offering and reception. Peace settles, different from morning stillness, deeper, seasoned by day's journey. You sense that every surrendered breath, anchored trust, silent pause, intentional step led here to horizon where gratitude and grace kiss goodnight. Inside, you jot a final note in journal, capturing one line: today anxiety tried, but love triumphed. Journal closed. You stretch, inhale, exhale, feeling heartbeat unhurried. Curtains drawn, light softened. You prepare for rest with assurance that the one who watched sunrise now guards dreams. Gratitude's horizon does not end at dark. It extends through night, promising fresh mercies when morning breaks again. You slip beneath covers, whispering thank you into quiet room, and drift towards sleep carried by calm wider than any worry. Let the memory of calm morning breaths and steady evening thanks linger in heartbeats as you rise tomorrow. Picture anxiety as passing cloud, gratitude as constant sunrise. Each new dawn invites surrender, trust, stillness, purposeful action, and thankful rest. Carry a small reminder, stone verse or whispered prayer, to recall today's victories when nerves stir again. Listen for birdsong between tasks, feel breeze during commutes, notice kindness in ordinary exchanges. Invite peace to guard thoughts and gratitude to widen vision. Pause now, breathe. Receive gentle assurance that you are held, guided, and renewed.